Aaron Rodgers, once the face of the Green Bay Packers and a legend in green and gold, shocked the NFL world when he made the bold decision to join the New York Jets. After years of leading the Packers to playoff runs and earning MVP honors, Rodgers was ready for a new challenge, eager to prove he could lift another franchise to greatness. But fate had other plans. Just 4 plays into his highly anticipated Jets debut, Rodgers suffered a devastating Achilles injury. The stadium fell silent as he was helped off the field, and the hopes of a new era in New York seemed to vanish in an instant. At 41, many wondered if Rodgers' career was over. Critics questioned whether he could ever return to his former glory, and fans across the league debated if this was the end for one of football's greatest quarterbacks. Rodgers faced a grueling recovery, pushing through pain and doubt. Despite his determination, the Jets released him, leaving Rodgers with unfinished business and a burning desire to prove everyone wrong. Enter the Pittsburgh Steelers, a storied franchise with a rich history, searching for a leader to guide them back to the top. The city of Pittsburgh, known for its blue-collar grit and passionate fans, was ready for a new hero. Rodgers signed with the Steelers, determined to write a new chapter in his storied career. He arrived in Pittsburgh with a chip on his shoulder, ready to silence the doubters and inspire a new generation of fans. The city embraced him with open arms, seeing in Rodgers the hope for a return to Super Bowl glory. Black and gold banners flew high, and the energy in Pittsburgh was electric. The 2025 season opener was set, Steelers vs. Jets at MetLife Stadium, the very place where Rodgers' journey with the Jets ended before it began. The matchup was more than just a game, it was a story of redemption. Rodgers would face the team that let him go, in a game loaded with emotion, history, and high stakes. The football world watched, knowing this was more than a comeback, it was a reckoning. This wasn't just a debut, it was a personal mission. Rodgers was determined to show he still had the heart of a champion. For Rodgers, it was a chance to prove his fire still burned bright, and to remind the world and the Jets of what they had lost. The stage was set for one of the most anticipated comebacks in NFL history. Fans, analysts, and former players all waited to see if Rodgers could defy the odds one more time. All eyes were on Rodgers as he prepared for a showdown that would not only define his legacy, but also inspire anyone who's ever faced adversity to believe in second chances. September 7, 2025. The air was thick with anticipation as fans poured into MetLife Stadium, their voices echoing with excitement and tension. This wasn't just any game, it was a homecoming of sorts, but not the kind filled with warmth. MetLife Stadium was electric, buzzing with energy and expectation, but the welcome for Rodgers was anything but warm. The crowd's anticipation was palpable, every seat filled with fans eager to witness a showdown. Boos rained down as he took the field in black and gold, a stark contrast to the cheers he once received in this very stadium. The sound was deafening, a wall of noise that seemed to shake the turf beneath his feet. The Jets fans wanted to see him fail, and the pressure was immense. Signs waved in the stands, some mocking, some angry, all united in their message. Rodgers was now the enemy. On his first snap, Rodgers was sacked by former teammate Quinnen Williams, a harsh reminder of the challenge ahead. The crowd erupted, feeding off the moment as if the game had already been won. The Jets' defense was relentless, determined to prove they'd made the right call moving on. Every play, every tackle was a statement. This was their house now. But Rodgers, ever the competitor, used the hostility as fuel. He thrived on adversity, channeling the negativity into focus and determination. He's played in hostile environments before. This was just another test. The boos, the jeers, the pressure, they were nothing new for a veteran like Rodgers. Every jeer from the crowd only sharpened his focus. He blocked out the noise, zeroing in on the task at hand, determined to prove he still had what it takes. "I love beating everybody," Rodgers later said. "I was happy to beat everybody associated with the Jets." His words carried the weight of a man who relished the challenge, who never shied away from the spotlight. The stage was set for a battle of wills, Rodgers versus his past, the crowd, and the Jets' defense. Every snap was a test of resolve, every play a chance to silence his critics. The only way to silence the noise? Deliver on the field. For Rodgers, the answer was simple. Let his play do the talking. The pressure was immense, but Rodgers was ready. He strapped on his helmet, took a deep breath, and prepared to write the next chapter of his storied career. The comeback was about to begin. In the heart of enemy territory, Rodgers was determined to turn the boos into stunned silence and remind everyone why he's one of the game's greats. The Steelers' offense sputtered early, stifled by a fired-up Jets defense. Incomplete passes, stalled runs, and constant pressure kept Pittsburgh off the scoreboard. Meanwhile, Jets quarterback Justin Fields methodically built a lead, energizing the home crowd. By mid-second quarter, the Steelers trailed, searching for answers. Then Rodgers found his rhythm. He orchestrated a sharp drive capped by a perfect 22-yard touchdown to Ben Skowronek, his first as a Steeler. The play silenced the crowd and reignited the Steelers' sideline. It was a reminder of Rodgers' elite talent and poise under pressure. The deficit remained, but hope was alive. The comeback king was just getting started. This game was historic. Both starting quarterbacks were facing their former teams from the previous season's opener. Justin Fields, now a Jet, showcased his dual threat skills: 218 passing yards, a touchdown, and 2 rushing scores. His athleticism kept the Steelers' defense off balance and gave the Jets a late lead. Rodgers, meanwhile, relied on experience and precision: 22 completions, 244 yards, and 4 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. He spread the ball to 4 different receivers, dissecting the Jets' defense. It was a duel of styles, Fields' youth and legs versus Rodgers' mind and arm. Both had something to prove, but only one would come out on top. The stage was set for a dramatic finish. Entering the fourth quarter, the Steelers trailed 26-17. The Jets' defense was confident, the crowd roaring, but Rodgers thrives in adversity. Calm and focused, he led a patient, methodical drive. Short passes, smart decisions, moving the chains. The Steelers chipped away at the lead, confidence building with every play. Facing third down deep in Jets territory, Rodgers fired a 5-yard touchdown to Jaylen Warren. Suddenly, it was 26-24. The stadium fell silent. The Steelers were back in it, momentum shifting. Rodgers' third touchdown was more than points. It was a statement. The team believed the comeback was alive, but no one could predict the chaos about to unfold. In a matter of seconds, the game would turn on its head. The fourth quarter was just heating up. The Steelers were far from finished. What happened next was pure football magic. On the ensuing kickoff, Steelers' Kenneth Gainwell forced a fumble. Ben Skowronek pounced on it at the Jets' 22. The Steelers' sideline erupted. Momentum had swung in an instant. Rodgers wasted no time. After an incomplete pass, he hit Calvin Austin III for an 18-yard touchdown. 2 touchdowns in 50 seconds. Pittsburgh now led 31-26. The Jets and their fans were stunned, the stadium in disbelief. Rodgers had thrown his 4th touchdown, capitalizing on a game-changing special teams play. In less than a minute, the Steelers had flipped the script. It was a masterclass in seizing opportunity. The highlight reels would replay this sequence for weeks. The Steelers had stormed ahead, but the drama wasn't over. The Jets still had fight left. The Jets, led by Justin Fields, refused to fold under the mounting pressure of the fourth quarter. With the crowd roaring and the stakes higher than ever, Fields gathered his teammates in the huddle, his eyes locked with determination. Fields engineered a determined drive, threading passes through tight windows and scrambling for crucial yards. A controversial penalty on third down gave the Jets a fresh set of downs, igniting a wave of hope on their sideline and frustration among Steelers fans. He capped the drive with a gutsy 1-yard rushing touchdown, his second of the day, putting the Jets up 32-31 with just over 7 minutes left. The Jets' sideline erupted, and Fields was mobbed by teammates, their playoff dreams suddenly alive again. Now it was Rodgers' turn. The veteran quarterback, calm and collected, took the field for Pittsburgh, knowing the game, and perhaps the season, rested on his shoulders. With poise, Rodgers orchestrated a methodical drive, moving the Steelers into Jets territory. He managed the clock expertly, mixing short passes with timely runs, keeping the defense guessing and the fans on edge. But the Jets' defense stiffened, forcing a third down stop at the 42-yard line. The Steelers huddled, facing a critical decision with time slipping away. Coach Mike Tomlin didn't hesitate. He sent out Chris Boswell for a career-long 60-yard field goal attempt, a distance few kickers ever dream of making in such a high-pressure moment. "Our kicker is a serial killer. He can't wait to deliver," Tomlin quipped, his confidence unwavering as Boswell lined up for the kick that could define the season. Boswell's kick was perfect, splitting the uprights and giving Pittsburgh a 34-32 lead with just over a minute left. The stadium was breathless, the tension almost unbearable as fans erupted in disbelief and joy. The Steelers had reclaimed the lead, but the Jets weren't done yet. With time on the clock, Fields and the offense prepared for one final push, determined to answer back. The game would come down to a final defensive stand. Every player on the field knew what was at stake. One play could decide everything. Rodgers had done his part. Now it was up to the defense to finish the job. The sideline was tense, every eye glued to the field. The tension was at its peak. Fans held their breath, players dug deep, and the outcome hung in the balance. One stop would seal a legendary win, etching this game into the memories of everyone who witnessed it. With 1:03 left, the Jets had time for a final drive. Fields moved the ball near midfield, the Jets using timeouts wisely. The Steelers' defense tightened, refusing to give up the big play. On 4th and 3 from the 45, Fields targeted Garrett Wilson. Jalen Ramsey delivered a perfectly timed hit, jarring the ball loose. Turnover on downs. The Steelers' sideline erupted. The defense had made the final stand. Rodgers took a knee, sealing a 34-32 victory. It was a total team win. Rodgers' 4 touchdowns, Boswell's record kick, and a heroic defensive stop. The old saying rang true: offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships. For Pittsburgh, it was a statement win to open the season. The comeback was complete. The legend of Rodgers in black and gold had begun. Rodgers' Steelers debut was unforgettable. 244 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. At 41, he became the third oldest QB to throw 4 TDs in a game, but the numbers only told part of the story. He won with poise, leadership, and a flair for the dramatic. This victory was personal, a statement to the Jets and every doubter. "It was nice to remind those people I still can," Rodgers said. For Pittsburgh, hope was restored. For Rodgers, redemption was sweet. The comeback, the 50-second turnaround, the game-winning drive, this was more than a win. It was the start of a new era, led by a legend on a mission. The journey had just begun, but Rodgers and the Steelers had already made history.